A quick introduction about me. My name is Sonica Sarna. I've been working in the fashion industry with the aim of having positive social and environmental impact for, I guess, 16, 17 years. My primary work is engaging with various stakeholders in the fashion supply chain, with brands, with consumers, with artisan communities, with textile makers, with the hope of creating value and having a net positive outcome. So making clothing that's good for the environment rather than degrading it. Creating products that engage cultural heritage and employ women and traditional communities rather than opting for cheap mass production. And we do classes and online engagements for brands and designers. But of late, we've had consumers ask us questions about some of the terms that are often being used in the fashion industry in a misleading way. And as consumers become more aware and want to be empowered to make more informed and conscious fashion choices, we've offered this What is Sustainability bite-sized free series. These are short sessions. Much of the content is what I'm going to dare call common sense even. For those who care about the clothes that they're wearing and want to be more conscious in their consumption, I'm hoping that you can have access to information that isn't too overwhelming or confusing, and that you can navigate the world of being a conscious consumer by demystifying some of the terms that you're perhaps reading more and more being thrown at you by brands or by other stakeholders in the fashion industry. So today's session, very simply, is about organic cotton. And it's the first of a series of sessions we hope to continue to do. And as I mentioned, the content is going to be available online later as well. Each of these sessions are quick, 15 to 20 minutes. If there are a few questions, I'll answer them on the spot. But these are not deep dive sessions, and that's just a disclaimer here. Having said that, I'm happy to engage all of the people who send us DMs and have questions about how to navigate being more responsible and still loving their clothing and still loving fashion. Okay, with that said, let's get started. So today's session is about organic cotton. And so I'm going to begin with a really simple definition of what does organic even mean. A lot of people use natural to be interchangeable with organic. And I guess at a very surface level, we can say that anything that occurs in nature and isn't man-made could perhaps be referred to as organic. And that is one way of viewing the meaning of this word. Having said that, when we attach organic cotton, organic coffee, or basically another suffix to it, then it takes on a whole new meaning. And so it's fair to ask, what does it even mean when you say something is made in organic cotton? What does it mean if you're drinking organic coffee? Or what does it mean if you're consuming organic meat? So the first point to consider here is that the word organic is linked to anything that is either a crop that's growing in nature or is an animal product wherein the animal is consuming something that's growing in nature. Only then does the word organic become relevant or pertinent to the conversation. So we're talking about a man-made synthetic fiber like polyester. It being organic is not a question, simply because it's not occurring in nature. So with that little overview, I hope I haven't confused you too much. Let me explain now the various things that the word organic comes to mean when we apply it to food, everything that we're eating, when it applies to everything that we wear, which is organic cotton, organic linen, or things that are growing as crops in nature, and all of the other things that we're extracting from animals. So for example, silk, wool, meat, as I mentioned. As you might be aware, the food that we eat, the cotton that spins the clothing that we wear, while these are natural materials, as in they are originating in nature, we're actually making them in an industrialized way because we're producing more than what is naturally occurring so that we can all have enough clothing, enough food, and enough meat to eat. The process of growing these crops, whether it's plant or animal, in the industrialization process is focused on maximizing yield And because the way industrialization works is to make sure that we can get the most out of nature, various chemicals are used to enhance output. What that means is if we choose to wear only organic cotton, or if we choose to eat only organic food, then that entire process of industrial production is guaranteed to eliminate harmful methodologies and chemicals from the agricultural process. If I apply this simply to organic cotton, if you're buying an organic cotton shirt, it simply means that when the crop of cotton has been grown, none of the harmful toxic chemicals used to increase cotton yield have been utilized. Instead, natural fertilizers have been used to grow the cotton crop. The variety of cottons that have been grown are those that are relatively healthier for the environment than the genetically modified varieties of cotton that are bad for the soil. Similarly, the human beings who are involved in the growing of the cotton and the making of the fabric have been working under humane conditions. If I go in a little bit further deeper into this process, the process of taking the cotton crop and then spinning and weaving fabric is also done without the utilization of toxic chemicals. If we go one more step further, the dyeing as well as printing and the weaving of the fabric uses dyes that are also not chemicals that are bad for the environment. And the water that is used in this entire process is also purified before it returns to the ecosystem. So put simply, if you're wearing something that is organic cotton, it means that from the first step of the organic cotton crop all the way to the organic cotton fabric, at every stage, we have removed the chemicals and the additives that were traditionally added to increase yield, but were determined to be bad for the environment. And one way to verify whether what you're wearing is organic is from some of the more visible logos of various organizations that audit the end-to-end production process of cotton, for example, and then those logos get put on the clothing. Similarly, organic logos also get put on food packages, which basically represent that someone has gone in and checked that the claim that everything from start to finish in the making process excludes toxic chemicals, and so you can believe the claim that something is organic. Towards the end of the session, I'm going to show you quickly what some of these logos look like so that you guys have a sense of what I'm talking about here. Why is it important to talk about having a visual context of recognizing whether something is organic? Because there is no way other than a logo to tell whether the manufacturing process of something was organic or not, because the end product to the naked eye looks the same, which is why consumers have to ask questions and verify if whether the claims of a brand saying they're organic are in fact true. You might ask, and this perhaps is the most important question of all, and pretty much the last thing I'm going to cover in the session today, is why does it even matter that something should be organic? I mean, if I'm wearing a non-organic shirt, how does it change my life? The entire process of growing the cotton, spinning and weaving the fabric, dyeing and printing, and all of these chemicals that we are trying to remove from the cotton supply chain, when left unchecked in non-organic materials, are left as residue in the soil, in the water, are in the ecosystem, not just of the people who are making the cotton, but also eventually find their way into the oceans and the ecosystem that effectively is interconnected across the planet. So if you're wearing toxic dyes, the remnants of those dye pollutants are most likely reaching the river in your local water body, which is perhaps also supplying water to your water supply. And not only is the presence of these chemicals in the water and in the soil and ultimately in the ocean bad for animals, but also extremely bad for human beings. For example, various chemicals that are used in dyes in non-organic fabrics have been known to cause various kinds of cancer, not only to those involved in the dyeing and printing, but also to communities nearby. So a simple decision to buy something organic ultimately makes brands choose to source organic, and that ultimately reduces the amount of toxins that the fashion industry is releasing into our ecosystems, our soil, our water, our air, and our planet. And so I would say go ahead and ask questions and try to buy organic cotton and organic food as much as possible. And really quickly, Divyank, if you can share with your screen some of the logo examples of what an organic logo looks like, so that you guys have a sense of what to refer to the next time you're out shopping.
Just a second.
Do you need help? Sorry, guys, this is the first time Divyank's screen sharing.
Just
It's all good. There we go. So typically when an item of clothing has been made using an organic standard, you'll see a logo like this. If you find clothing and products available to buy where the description says that they're organic cotton, or the food is organic, or the cotton or the coffee is organic, but there are just claims and no logo or certifications, since there is no way for you to verify this, have a conversation as a consumer with the brand that you're loyal to. And you might find that they will realize that their organic claims either have to be verified by a certification, or they have to provide you other proof that their claims of being organic are in fact true. That's all we have for today. And if there's any questions, I can answer them really quick before we sign off, though this is a fairly short session, so I think we have another 3 or 4 minutes